Let's see. More fish. Let's see, can I get another fish trap? Yeah. I might be able to get another one, but I think at this point I go back to turning the wood into things. Okay. Oh, there's a text file and app data that lets you turn off the screen shake. Huh. That's actually pretty good. Okay, so this gets us mining. Then we get prospecting, which, in retrospect, prospecting is... I don't know if prospecting is a good idea. Also, we could get fishing as a means of getting around the health damage. Because, yeah, faster fish trap production will actually be helpful. Eventually. But yeah, I might spring for that text file, but later. Once we start really exploiting things. I was wondering if it wasn't going to do anything. It's like, well, I can help, but I shouldn't have to. We actually need 8 of these. So we might as well get more. Okay, furnaces. Give me that sweet EXP. Yeah, I'd rather not cover up whatever resources are growing, even if they're not the things that I'm, like, immediately springing for. Like wheat, for example. Wheat can be used, I mean, honestly, for money later. Because we can turn it into bread pretty quick and then, sell that at a slight bonus. So there's a method for spirit orbs to go for health, or gamble it in the death maze. Honestly, I think it kind of varies. If you actually... So if we're talking on a non-single island challenge, you can actually get a demon altar out in the regular world. It's down in the bottom. I think it's actually procedurally generated, but it's somewhere in the red area. So if you get that demon altar... Honestly, I would say you might as well use the demon altar, because you have infinite spirit orbs. And a lot of the other things you get from the demon altar are pretty good, too. I'm personally lazy about it, and I just use spirit orbs because, well, yeah, lazy. Okay. So, I guess I can start eating beets as well. Because we have next to no use for them. Yeah... See, really wants me to build that forge, but like I have no use for it. I don't think I can even make the next level of pickaxe. I think I'm lacking what I think it's the slime pickaxe that I get next, and yeah, I don't need that. Okay, there's geology. And then after that, we're immediately gunning for... we're gunning for storage, because we're going to be desperate for getting some of these things out of my inventory. I'm not going to go for digging. Originally, when I did this challenge, somebody had said you could get leather. Oh, wait, no. It actually said on the wiki that you could get leather from digging. I think that's true, but I think you need a max tier shovel to get that. And so, yeah, I had to abandon that idea, and I ended up with, like, a stupid amount of resources that I didn't need. Or just kind of clogging my inventory. I guess the other thing we could get is immediately go for the sell stuff from your inventory perk. Because that actually would only take 2 level ups. And that would let me get rid of some things like seaweed, for example. Which is useful in other runs. Kind of this one, but mostly no. Let's see. Well, at least it's a decent amount of EXP no matter what I do. And yeah, I know there's that perk that gets me the extra EXP, but 20% EXP right now is... It's like maybe 1 EXP per level up. It would pay dividends eventually, but I feel like maximizing my resource gain will pay more. Especially because the more resource gain I get, and like, if I get down to quarries and crystal, and then shrine, then we can just... get infinite leveling left and right. Let's see. I might have enough coal at this point, by the way. So let's go check to see if I can get second mining rod. Okay, you. Nope, I actually have next to no coal. I could spend this wood to get me more coal. But you know what? No, it's a waste. We're gonna need that wood for platforms. I know there are landfills that I can get, but you need poop for landfills. And we get poop at about the same time as we get leather in this challenge, which is like way later. Like way later. Okay, gotta watch my stamina here a bit. Might have wasted a fish there, but that's okay. Because I don't have to manually mine resources, it's not so bad. It bugs me that this mining rod can't mine that one ore. It should. It absolutely should be able to, but no. Okay. Have I got more coal? I did. It's not enough. We actually... That's still not enough coal. Oh. Steel is obscenely pricey. So is it worth it to get health or stamina from a spirit orb? I would always go health, because every point of health is effectively a second stamina bar, but every stamina bar has nothing to do with your health. Apart from hurting you when you run out of it. If that makes sense. It's kind of odd to think of it that way. There we go, geology. And then I guess I'll get the quarry. I guess we'll have my next yeah, there we go. That's enough. We'll have my next mining rod by the time we get that quarry. I think you need 3 or 4 by the time it rolls around, but that's okay. I can get at least 1 steel. And coal drops more coal. Yes. Fill that out. Because yeah, once we get the quarry, we should be able to spit like tons of resources. Bottled fairies are the best stamina bars. That's just horrifying. You're right, but that is horrifying. Okay. So inventory is clear. I'm gonna avoid trying to have a whole lot of like gold and iron sitting around because I don't generally need them. Okay. So as soon as we get this, we get our second mining rod. We'll need more. We'll need a lot more, but by the time we need them, like, need all those extras, then we should be a lot more flush for resources. So, I could spread it out there, but no. These have to stay on the island. I prefer not to have anything on actual land, but there's a little bit of that, like, crossover. I think I actually want to pull them in a little bit. Like that. Then I'll want to expand the range, but that's okay. Industrial mining rod. Like that? Or like that? We might have to destroy these once we get the quarry. We'll see how it goes. Ugh. So yeah, I'll probably get the quarry on the next one just for the extra, just passive EXP gain and resources, because that means we'll be able to just start spitting steel pretty fast. Because yeah, I've already got 35 coal, which means we might as well actually just start on the next set. Let's see, and I'm gonna get another furnace up in here. That way we can make these as well. So I think the next mining rod requires 3, right? Yeah. It's actually underestimated. But that's okay. Okay, so building furnaces. I am a one-trick pony. Yeah, I really probably should actually only build one and then destroy it, now that I'm thinking about it. Because each one of these, I'm no expert on how this handles spawning, but my assumption is it works something like this. Every X number of seconds, it runs like a ping throughout every open square of fertile land. Let's just go with that. Arable land. And then it's like, oh, you know, there's no resources nearby, and a resource hasn't grown here in X amount of time, and, you know, wheat hasn't grown in a while. Let's put a wheat here. And so the more tiles I waste doing this sort of thing, the less resources we're probably gonna have spawn. Unless it's one of those where it runs a check if it's spawned a resource at all recently, and then spawn said resource. I don't know. Okay, industrial, no. Farming, quarry. Well, that won't be happening for a little while at least. That was ostensibly a wasted level, but that's okay. I guess we do have this like little furnace raft zone down here. I'm just gonna live over here and let that go until we have enough gems. But yeah, I think we're gonna want to beeline for banks. At least until we can get those gems down. We'll get them eventually, but oof. That is a cost. I'm just gonna have that be furnace row. Eventually I'm gonna want to have this place more or less flanked entirely with furnaces. Okay. So we're doing okay. Probably go grab more fish, but we actually don't need it as much. Once again, because I don't have to handle the harvesting myself, it's not so bad. I'm more or less spending all of my stamina entirely on building and breaking the same thing over and over again. This challenge is going to die when they get rid of this feature. I hope they don't. Because honestly, it's not even that, like, busted of a mechanic. It's just helpful. So, here's the question. Do I squander the level up and get coin it? Let's find out. I want to go look at things. Because, honestly, the faster we get lighthouses, the better. So let's take a look at that. Probably should check out my main run, but that would be super loud. So if I go straight from the side, because I don't actually want banking. Banking is useless. For a lot of reasons. I actually really don't like banks in this game. I feel like they don't scale well. If they had an AoE and had like a multiplicative effect, or like worked with lighthouses or something, maybe it'd be better. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. Let's just grab economy. Have that 40 useless coins. Or alternatively, we could grab magic, brilliance, storage, and optics. 4 levels instead of 3. But that would give me fairies early, and that would get me closer to faith. Because then I could just go combat and faith, because alchemy and inscription are meaningless for a while. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get fairies instead. Because that's a free way to get EXP. And, that's a free way to get a small amount of EXP and health. And also, 20% EXP bonus might actually be kind of nice. Go for Fisher to get health and more stamina. Honestly, EXP gain is way more important to me than Fisher. I gain no EXP from fishing. So, not that helpful. And we gotta go for those lighthouses next. Because that is not the linchpin to this, but it makes life so much easier. And again, it's the reason why I wanted to start this challenge over. Because lighthouses are stupid. Did you know that lighthouses were stupid? I certainly didn't. I thought they were meaningless. I was like, what do they do? Do they just have like a light radius around them that just like brightens up the zone? That's dumb. Why would I ever use such a stupid thing in this game? The answer is no, lighthouses are stupid. Let's see. How much more of these do I have? I gotta get more bridges. Oops. Do not want that. There we go. This might be a situation where increasing my stamina cap is not a bad idea. Just so I can sit around breaking these a little bit faster. It is slow. Not too slow. It's slow. Smackaroonie. Anybody just showing up and watching this for the first time, they're probably going to be thrown off and confused. And upset by what I'm doing. That is fair. It is understandable. Just don't yell at me about it. Alright. Furnaces. These things are actually worth like a decent chunk of EXP. Surprised the hell out of me when I started doing it. Okay, because yeah, if we get Brilliance, 20% more EXP, that's only like an extra 5 or 5 to 6 on each one of these. Like, it's worth it, but it's not that worth it. Compared to, say, getting quarries down and just having, like, insane resource growth. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, we haven't had a single gem drop. And I'm not really sure why. Because we have the perk that's supposed to increase the chances of gems dropping by 10%. And so I'm not sure what the logic for getting them to spawn is. Unless I literally have to, like, build out... No, I wouldn't have to build out to the desert first. That wouldn't make sense. Man, it would be bad if they changed the background logic on how some of those things spawn. I'd be doomed if that's the case. That'd go bad. Yeah, we'll probably go for shovels next, because I think you can dig up gems that way. But lighthouses first, then gems. Because if I'm going to gain any gems, the more lighthouses I have down, the better. Because lighthouses are are amulets, but so much better. I don't have a single gem. Oh, now I'm out of stone. I'm getting progressively more, though. Let's see. Does it only apply for you manually hitting it? What? The EXP? No. The EXP bonus, The EXP bonus applies to anything. It's just most things don't give you enough EXP to be worth it. Unless you're asking another question. Which one? I have no idea. Oh, the gem boost. Oh. That's an interesting question. It shouldn't. Yeah, rocks just have 10% more chances of dropping gems. Yeah, they would have had to change that. Because, yeah, I don't think they've changed it. It would be an odd decision to make. I think there's just some kind of weird background trigger that would... Oh, really? I'm assuming there's some kind of weird background trigger that causes gems to start spawning. And I'm assuming it's just getting one of them. Probably from digging or mining a rock, usually in, like, the desert. There we go, there's a fairy. Admittedly, they're only worth 12 EXP, but still. that gets me back up to full health, so I don't have to worry as much. I've noticed recently on YouTube and Twitch, the average, like, politeness levels have gone down. I was wondering about why, and I realized, I think it's actually because a lot of kids are getting out of school. Because I've been having more people leave, like, just one-off inflammatory messages. Somebody just showed up in Twitch chat to leave a racial epitaph for no good reason. And it reminds me so much of, like, kids in middle school yelling something because they knew they could get away with it, you know. Yelling out phallic terms in the lunchroom. Loudly, and then hiding when any teacher looked that way. So it's like, well, who yelled that out? And everybody would go, Mum. It's always one of those where, like, I get taken aback by it. I'm like, okay, what has changed? Did I do something to incite this? Because, you know, obviously, like, there's that level of, like, kind of background doubt of, like, did I screw up? Oh, you know what? The other thing is, maybe I just have to build a freaking forge? Let's actually build a couple of these. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, I need 4 bricks. I wouldn't be surprised if I don't actually have to do a trigger with building, like a forge first. But yeah, so, you know, there's that kind of background doubt that I have, because I don't want to accidentally, like, say or do something that suddenly brings in a lot of people that suddenly start, like, giving me hate. Unless it's something that I think it's justified for. In, my 4th episode of, I guess, my 1.0 series for this, I was talking about how, you know, I consider myself to be, like, very pro-gay rights, for example. And I got a lot of people that showed up that were just, like, immediately yelling fairly homophobic stuff, and I was just like, this only validates my perspective. And so, like, yeah, that's something where, yeah, what I said did bring about something negative. But in my mind, yeah, I think it's entirely justified, because those people were... Some of them were fairly monstrous, honestly. One guy was straight up talking about putting, like, you know, special snowflake people on the front lines in a war against Germany? Which is just confusing. And, you know, not giving them guns so they just get killed. And it's like, huh, you are actually a bad person. I don't get to say that about a lot of people, but that person, actually a bad person. Okay, bottles, keys, coins. I don't think any of these are going to help. And yeah, until we get jelly, which we're never going to get. We're kind of locked on that one. So let's see if that starts triggering gem drops. I certainly hope so, but we'll see. But yeah, so apart from stuff like that, there's that, like, baseline mental worry of, like, okay, did I say anything else that would cause people to start, like, flocking to me and just, saying awful shit? Because, yeah, I don't want that. I don't want to be known as the guy that fosters, like, a bunch of horrid, toxicity in my chat or audience. Okay, so we need a lot of these. Oops, that is actually too much. Let's get a second furnace down here. I'm gonna hold off on EXP farming for a moment. Okay, was it... It was like some amount of bricks, too. Honestly, we might as well just make as many bricks as we possibly... no, we don't want to do that. We want to make the bare minimum number of bricks. Because if I make too many, I'm not actually going to be able to make any more, I'm not going to be able to EXP farm as easily using those. So, we've got a stupid amount of fish. I really do wish that there was, like, an upgraded version of the fish trap in this game that had... Oh, how would I describe it? An upgraded version of the fish trap that just automatically collected the fish for you. That would be really nice. Like, actually, I think a lot of structures in this game need, like, weird upgrades. I'm just gonna cannibalize every fairy that goes by. We need it bad. Like, I don't know, I think it would be really cool if there's, like, the upgraded furnace that you could even set automation, like make sure I always have a collection of X number of make sure I always have a collection of X number of gold bars, always. Make sure I always have this amount of steel. You know, furnaces and factories that could actually make multiple things. So you could just queue up steel and that would be about it. Let's see. Thank you, Marusha Dark, for the, what is that, 50 bits? Thank you. That was life in the new house. And what's the story behind all the bell sprouts? My emojis. I made weird lewd jokes about a bell sprout in Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, and it just stuck around because I would rather force a meme than make it die an honorable death. Let's see. So I could get optics now, or we could get a little bit of inventory space. Let's get the little bit of inventory space for a second. Because that'll let me carry around more stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I also think Bellsprout is one of the stupidest Pokemon. I absolutely hate Weeping Bell and Victory Bell. Their design bothers me, and visually, I don't like looking at either of them. So I made the cutest goddamn Bellsprout you ever did see. And what do you know? I like Bellsprouts now. Okay, cool. So now we can actually store some stuff. I'm gonna store only the most useless things. Oh. It's right-click to transfer. I don't know if we need beets. Berries, stone. Many of these I'm gonna need. I guess I'm gonna put those away just because we're gonna end up with too many of them. Let's see, are you allowed to expand via landfill in this challenge? Yes, I am. I can use landfills to expand the island. Interesting thing though, that does not actually increase the amount of resource generation I get, which is frustrating. Yeah, I see a lot of what Wander talked about, because I come from a place where it may even seem like swearing a lot is something normal. Being polite here is being regarded as weird, and hate how that's happening here. Oh, people being impolite? I mean, it happens anywhere. People are going to be dicks all over the place. I just try and always maintain at least some level of a feeling of, like, everybody needs to be nice to each other. It's like, I don't know. I went to school with, like, just a lot of mean people, and I just kind of got used to it. And the older I get, the more I realize, no, I can actually just shut that... I can just shut that stuff down. You know, rudeness, swearing, and whatever, and just be like, nope. Not my house. Get out of here. That's actually kind of nice. Okay. So we got foraging. We're not going to go for shovels, though I would like to. Let's see. By the way, actually, that was a good idea on the structure upgrades. I should probably write that down. I'll send that email. Maybe at the end of this session, we can just put together a thing to Hot Frog and be like, here's some ideas. Let's see. How would I describe it? Furnace that automatically smelted items that you need to smelt other items. Sorry I don't actually speak when I'm writing, I don't know. When I try and speak while I'm writing, it messes me up. So I just wrote down, furnaces that smelt X number of items always, or maintain a quota, and also that smelt resource chains, and auto-collecting fish traps. Because honestly, I think what would actually work really well for an endgame for this game isn't exactly an endgame, but just make, like, progressively more ridiculous upgrades for things along the way. Don't droids collect fish traps? They do, but I hate droids. If I could have equivalently, like, the equivalent of a mining rod standing next to a bunch of fish traps to collect them for me, I'd much prefer that, because the problem is the droids follow me around. and it gets shitty, because, like, they actually get in the way of me building things and mining stuff, and it's not comfortable, and I don't like it. Let's see, if you automate everything, what would you do? Stand there and laugh. I mean, have you not seen me play Factorio? Wait, you were there! You were there when we played Factorio. What did... Get out of here. I automated my fan base to play Factorio, and it worked great. Y'all made one hell of a base, and we beat that game easy. And then destroyed it terribly. So there's that, but still. But no, I will always be in favor of automation. But I think what this game needs is it actually needs really ridiculous, I think it needs really ridiculous... Let's just make as much of this as we can. Almost tower defense style upgrades, if that makes sense. Like, how many of you guys have played a tower defense game where here's your basic tower and you can upgrade it? Maybe it branches, so one's faster, one's got a wider range, one might have a slowing effect or something like that. Like, I actually feel like one of the ways that you could really force players to squander resources is in progressively more expensive, but also progressively more ridiculous upgrades for things. Like, you know, a mining rod. One single mining rod that gets bigger and bigger, but the range gets huge. So the point, by the end of it, you have one central island with one mining rod on it that mines everything on the entire map for you. But it costs, like, more than the Obliterator. But, like, why not? It wouldn't even be that hard to make. It would just be this, like, ridiculous ziggurat of a mining rod. And, you know, like, no player playing this game would ever need this thing. But because you can make it, people will go for it, even if it's, like, a ridiculously, like, expensive end goal. And having shit like that, I think, would actually work really, really well for this game. Because, yeah, currently it doesn't have much of an endgame, and maybe there will be a better endgame. But in the meantime, just make it ridiculous instead, and no one will notice. Those are my thoughts, anyway. Because, yeah, this is one of those games that you can almost, like... What would I say? You can arms race, you can... Maybe not feature creep. Well, you could feature creep so hard that, like, all of the actual goals are so high that almost no player ever reaches it. And that's okay, because it'll be satisfying. Let's see, a Netherrealm layer is an endgame where you can cycle through three-dimensional floors. That actually would be kind of nice if you could realm swap to, like, different zones and whatnot. I would also love to play some kind of, I'm gonna say... survival or tower defense. Actually, that would be kind of fun. I gotta destroy some of my notes, or I'll just make a new page. A game mode that actually has enemies attack you would be really cool. Because I guarantee, if there was a mode where you start on your island, and it isn't until you get the second island that things start happening, but effectively, or maybe not even that. You have your island, and every night a bridge or a something, effectively, like, enemies are going to start coming from a direction. Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe instead of having an island, you just have a big map, a bigger map than you know, immediately usable, and you can't really expand that much. But effectively, every night, enemies start attacking you from one direction, or all directions, and stuff like that. Like, that, I think, would actually be really cool. And so, they not only are trying to kill your player, but they also are trying to destroy all your structures. You know, that I could work with a permadeath mode. I know there's supposed to be an upcoming hardcore mode where you just die permanently, but, like, what's the fun in that? Without actually, yeah, effectively combine Forager plus They Are Billions. Because if I could do that with, like, more towers for tower defense stuff, like, if I could combine this plus small amounts of They Are Billions, you know, not having to maintain the people, but I'm going out gathering resources, putting mining rods down. you know, I find a particularly resource-rich area that regrows resources fairly frequently. Well, I plonk down a mining rod, but it's going to get destroyed. And anything that gets destroyed, you maybe only get half the resources back, as opposed to anything that you yourself destroy, which gets... Actually, honestly, I would say it might even be fair for that game mode that destroying something yourself, you get 50% of the stuff back, and then you have to get upgrades to actually make it so that you get to keep more. And obviously, they'd have to add, like, a lot more enemies there. And, you know, plunk down the dungeons on the worlds to begin with, and really let the player go around as much as they want. But yeah, the moment those enemies start spawning, they just wash over your structures, and you might lose it all. And so you have to play a little bit more defensively. You actually put walls down. You have to put walls down. You have to play, you know, carefully, because otherwise, yeah, you're gonna lose everything, and then they destroy your... Let's just say there's a central power core. You know, you revive there if you die. Maybe at half health, maybe it's some kind of penalty. Maybe you lose half your money. But, like, I think that sort of thing would actually work rather well as, like, an alternate game mode. And maybe there wouldn't be an end. Maybe it would straight up just get harder and harder until you inevitably lose. What was that weird game that I played? Made by this single French dude where I could just shit mushrooms left and right. Oh, I've forgotten what game that was, but that game was amazing. Let's see, Mindustry. I like Mindustry. Kind of. I should actually try playing the 4.0 version. I've only played whatever the 3-point-something version is. Yeah, ship spawning in Northgard. Yeah. Northgard or Bad North? Because you're probably thinking Bad North? Because I played Northgard and I don't remember ship spawning that much. Whereas I didn't play, I actually didn't play Bad North. I fell off DMart's email list, which was sad. Okay. I haven't leveled up yet. Wait, yes I did. We got Lighthouse. 15 glass, 5 steel, 30 bricks. Oof. I mean, it's worth it. I'm just gonna put the actually usable ones down here. Let's see, bee apiary that spawns flowers. Ooh, apiary. Yeah, that'd be a good one.